What's better than 2 fiery tornadoes? Well, 4 fiery tornadoes, of course. Allow me to warmly welcome you into today's blazing hot account review, as we have once again an opportunity to peek into an account that is running the highest level Devil Horn, the Devil Horn level 5 with full gold set. Today we will go through the account of DizzyDreamz, the leader of the Abyssal Dragons Guild, who with this amazing score just recently completed his royal flush of personal seasonal trophies, so getting one of each trophies at least, and that happened just before he hit 3 million total waves down, which I think is a really cool milestone to hit. Dizzy has also been making his own Crow Castle videos lately, and I will link his account in the description, so make sure to check that out after watching as well. Personally, for example, I've seen quite a few nice box opening sessions in there, and those are always nice things to watch. You are seeing the build running in here, and for some of you this may seem a bit familiar perhaps, and yes, it is indeed the Fire Barbecue build, which I personally like so much. I used the Fire Barbecue build a bit over 2 million waves myself, and it is the Fire Barbecue build with slight twists. For example, there's Zeus in there, and also Windy in here is in double proccing range, which means for every cast cycle, Windy will be cast twice, which will result in having 4 tornadoes on the field simultaneously, and that just looks so freaking nice. I personally quickly tried this in the previous beta as well, but at the time my mana said no, because double the cast means double the mana cost as well, and my mana recovery just couldn't handle that. But it's great to see someone successfully running it, because I think it's a really cool way to run this Fire Barbecue build. Also, being able to run the Devil Horn 5 at 3 million waves or even below 3 million waves is not an easy task at all, and Dizzy is running this build with rather high gold power due to running Time Autobattle for such a long time. I'll show you the levels and the ratios in one moment, and also I will show you all the items, of course, in just one moment. But also, I've been given permission to waste a Town Archer reset ticket, so we can reduce the level of the Town Archers and bring them maybe to the half of the level that they currently are, and see if the build still runs with a lower gold power as well. So we'll be doing that today as well, so make sure to watch the entire video through to see if that version of this build can still complete the waves. But let's begin going through the account, and as promised, here are the ratios of this account currently right now, and as you can see, the levels are quite high, the gold power is quite high. For reference, I'm running around 17 on my own account currently. But again, once we are done, these are ratios that you can do if you are spending Time Autobattle constantly, and that's also an option. But again, once we are done with checking all the items and seeing what the heroes are hiding from us in here, we will also reset the Town Archers to 0.1 ratio approximately and see how the build runs in there, because then it will be closer to normal ratios as well. But let's get started. So first of all, the battle analysis of the build looks like this. So Town Archers and Windy doing most. It's nice to see Windy above Goblin. Goblin is usually number 1 in here in most fire setups and in most setups currently. So doing most of the damage to the normal monsters throughout the wave, with Goblin being third, and then Succubus and Zeus in here. And if you take a look at the boss damage distribution, obviously we don't see Windy very high in here, because Windy is not a boss killer, she is not meant to be a boss killer, so then it's more of Succubus and Town Archers taking care of the bosses in here. And the gold from the monsters is looking like something like this. Again, this build is currently running on full gold setup, so it's running with Devil Horn 5 with the horn and with full gold treasures. So usually, personally, for example, myself, I use Power Claw quite often in here instead, so that's also a nice thing to have, nice thing to see a full gold setup running. But let's start by going through the items. We have the maximum 25 CDs in here, which is something you usually really want for Devil Horn 5. Who do we start with? Which hero do we start with? So we start with Town Archers, I believe. Let's start with Town Archers. We have crit damage, boss damage, which is now nice because it works with Town Archers, and another boss damage in here. That's a lot of boss damage for Town Archers. Helps in farming as well, I suppose, so that's also a great thing in there. The bonus experience is kind of useless, but hey, it's otherwise a nice bow for Town Archers. And yeah, well, this is just 3 out of 3 for normal lines, so double critical damage and 1 damage line. This is a beautiful ring with a hero damage skill level, also giving you a bit of free damage as well, with attack speed rune here, so these are really nice item. And the Orb of Power with 19% to roll 20 would be the max, so that's a really solid one in there. So that's the start of our journey in here. I guess we can start from the top, I guess. So let's start with Chrono, which is in the 13th slot. These shouldn't really be that spectacular items, I suppose. Mainly it's a CDE and cooldown for most running Chrono at this point. At the end game, you don't need more than one cooldown line for Chrono anyway, so one cooldown and CDE is what you need. Slingers. We have slingers with knockback, slow, and CDE line with attack speed runes. This is a nice sword. And then we have a knockback chance, another slow line in here, and a CDE with more attack speeds in here. So solid crowd control items for slingers. And static orb, is it the 1%? Of course it's 1% every single time. No one. I'm the only one who has 0.9. God damn it. Well, it's a nice one. It's nice to have a static orb with 1% roll, because that's the max. Paladins, great for body blocking in Devilhorn 5. As you see in most Devilhorn 5 builds currently. CDE line, the most important thing to have in here. And what we have in here, 1 damage reduction line, that is a nice thing to have, and 1 summoned HP rune. Probably going to be adding another one in here in future, because there's 1 extra line already added to this item. And they are in the physical orb for extra damage and extra attack speed, I guess, so that's an option. There's not really many things that you can run for paladins effectively anyway. I've used sand orb, which doesn't really help that much either. But that's a nice thing to have. And then we have Zeus. Zeus is something that is a twist in here in the Fire Barbecue build. Currently we have a 1 cooldown line, so he doesn't need to be next to Pure Wizard. Crit damage, CDE, so a solid basic hammer for Thor for sure, and also Thunderbolt +2, which is exactly what you need for Thor when you are running him for damage, when you can either farm the XP dungeon or get them through boxes. You will need this rune. And lightning damage is either lightning damage or boss damage that you want for Zeus. Works just fine, no issues in there. In here, ooh, wow. 4 out of 4 Thor item, by the way. Wow, I'm jealous of this item. Yeah. Unfortunately, Chain Lightning is not useful for Zeus, but it's still double crit chance CDE with lightning damage rune. It's a beautiful, beautiful solid necklace. And in case he will be running Thor at some point, wow boy, will Thor be happy. Happy to have that one. Critical chance orb with almost a max roll as well. That's a beautiful one, 24.8%. First row done. Let's skip to the next damage dealer, Succubus. What is Succubus eating in here? Let's see. Poison orb. Let's start with that. 24% poison orb. And in the accessory we have double crit damage, crit chance with attack speed. Really beautiful attack speed. Runes, by the way, 10 and 9.8. Those are really solid ones. You really want attack speed runes for Succubus as high as you can get, and those are for sure high. And this crit chance, more attack. There's a lot of attack speed in these Succubus items. That's for sure. That is for sure. Attack speed and crit chance, those are the best lines you want for Succubus. Then we have Necromancer. Necromancer is having CDE line with skill duration rules. Nice rolls, by the way. And 1 cooldown line, CDE line, and even better skill duration runes in here as well. So these are really solid endgame Necromancer items in here. And Dark Skeleton, mostly probably, yeah. CDE line, some runes, whatever you need, skill level runes, or maybe skill duration runes in some case. Doesn't really need much anything else. CDE in here, and that's just basic. Like Dark Skeleton is an easy hero because you can basically fill him as long as you have CDE lines. That's gonna be fine. Okay. Then we are coming to the interesting part, which is Windy and Goblin. Who do we start with? Our Windy is in double proccing range, so let's go with Goblin first, so we need the Pure Wizard before Windy. We are running in here Critical Orb. I've usually seen Fire Critical Orb on Goblin, so that must be on Windy. Critical 99.8% out of 100, come on. That is a flex. Even, well, if that orange amount, if it isn't a flex enough, this is just a flex. Like, holy crap, that's a nice roll. Fire damage, crit chance, CDE line, and own bonus gold. There's a lot of own bonus gold in here, because there's one in here as well. I knew that. So, there's, instead of fire damage runes, there's a lot of own bonus gold on both of these items, CDE line and really nice TNT damage rune. Again, this is what you need for Goblin. I've said this in like 16 videos probably before, but you need the TNT damage rune for Goblin if you run. But there's like a lot of own bonus gold runes in here for extra gold. So own bonus gold gives you more gold if the hero who's using this rune kills an enemy. So whenever this is placed, you want to place this on someone who kills a lot of normal monsters usually, because the more monsters that hero kills, the more gold you will be getting. And Goblin will be taking care of a lot of the enemies throughout the wave, so a solid option in there. This is a really gold-focused Devil Horn 5 build, all in all. And then we have Pure Wizard with 6.6 seconds cooldown. So, is there a DCD IQ or is there not a DCD IQ? That is the question, because that's slightly on the high range of Pure Wizard cooldown. We have double cooldown staff in here with 0 damage skill level rune, and what is the accessory? Okay. Wow. It's a max IQ line. It's a DCD IQ. How unfortunate that this isn't with a flat roll. But it's a DCD IQ, so it's a DCD IQ with the max IQ roll, so that's nice. And there's damage skill level and CD cooldown skill level runes in here as well. So 6.6 seconds Pure Wizard. So that means Windy must be less than 6.6 seconds. Windy is 5.71. So that means she will be cast twice per each Pure Wizard cycle. And so we have the fire orb in here. Wow, these orb rolls are beautiful, man. 125% is the max for this one, and this 124.6. There's so many different options, and getting this one is... I kind of feel like ruining it, but I'm not that mean. Wow, that is a beautiful... Both of the critical orbs are absolutely beautiful. So in here, as you can see, more own bonus goals in here as well. CDE line, double cooldown, so that you can get the cooldown below Pure Wizard, and a damage line. So this is basically, for this purpose, a perfect item. And the staff is also, for this purpose, a perfect item. Well, the perfect gold skill is a useless E-line, but you can have everything, right? So, crit damage helps, and then double cooldown and tornado +1, which gives you the other tornado. So, Fire Windy usually have just one tornado. With the tornado +1 rune, you get the second one. And then, when it's in double proccing range, you get like 2 plus 2, and that equals 4. Even I can do that much math. So that's beautiful. Those are beautiful Windy items. There's a lot of bonus gold in here. So again, anyone running this, you could also run fire damage runes instead of own bonus gold runes in here. In that way, you could level Windy and Goblin a little bit less and still have them deal enough damage. So that's also an option. But this is a really gold-oriented build. We have Goblin or Orc Band left. I can't speak English anymore because I'm captivated by Windy. CD, nothing really matters for Orc Bands, so that doesn't... So there's... Well, okay, this is a nice one. Double MP Cost. MP Cost is basically the only line that does matter when you are using Time Autobattle for Orc Band, but that's also like minor priority. Your only real priority is the CD line, but with MP Cost reductions you can make the Orc Horn's ability to cost a little bit less mana, which can help you in the initial phase of the run. So that's just like a perfect item for that purpose as well. And we have Military Band left as well. And same thing in here, you mainly just need the CDE line and then whatever skill level runes you want to place in here as well. So CDE line in here as well. And finally, Alchemist. Alchemist CDE in here. Also, that's the first priority, and possibly MP cost reduction runes if you have extra, or just any skill level runes you need, and any cooldown lines you can get in here. There's a cooldown line here. So those are solid gold build items. We have just Solar left and Warm, of course. Okay, Solar items. Here we have double knockback. So I think I've run something similar previous to myself as well. CDE line is the most important thing. Ice Meteor just gives the Meteor like a slow ability. It works for Solar, so it's a nice, just like a free small crowd control bonus you can have. CDE line, most important thing in here, and CDE line in here as well. What you really want from Solar in here is the critical chance plus 15% for both Windy and Goblin, because they are both doing a lot of damage, so this is an extremely important buff. That's why Solar is in here. Her level is not high, she's not doing damage, as we saw in here actually. For example, she's not doing damage, she's a support leader in here. And finally, of course, Worm. We have E items, so there are Tower Runes in here. CDE with poison critical damage, so 2 out of 3 lines are useful for Worm, which is enough. And same thing in here, poison, critical damage, area skill damage is useless for Worm, but again, 2 out of 3 useful lines, and a CDE line with some attack speed runes, that is nice. And Orb of Agility to boost the attack speed, so you can get more MP again. You need a lot of MP recovery in this build because of the double proc in Windy, so great to see that it's working nicely. Just like that. Oh, and for now we went through the gold setup. So we can also take a look at the push setup. So this is for really running for maximum speed. Variation of this build, it's essentially the same. The damage dealers are the same. The difference is that we have military band female in here, which gives you extra skips when you're using Time Autobattle. So only if you're using Time Autobattle, you will want to try and add this for maximum pushing seasons. So again, in here, the only things that you want is a CDE line and some MP cost to help, because she costs a lot of mana to cast initially. But CDE line is the most important thing, and then, well, there's a lot of MP cost reduction here, so these are just beautiful military band female items for this kind of a setup. And then in here we have actually Stone. Stone, again, well, boosts Worm's MP recovery, because he does give you buff for your towers. So that's one reason, and also the CD items in here. And also this allows more towers, which doesn't really do that much on their own during your wave. But just in this case, they allow for more... Well, that's a beautiful item, by the way. More CDE lines when you have tower runes for your towers. So can be equipped to towers. Tower rune from the expert dungeon. And then you can use the CDE lines in here. And the same thing, I suppose, in here as well. Can be equipped to towers and can be equipped to towers. That's for more CDE lines when using the push setup. This push setup uses a very damage kind of a treasure set. I'm sure there could be like gold bar in here, and that shouldn't be an issue at all. But this is like full speed, maximum speed ahead kind of a build. The difference in here is also that Goblin is using more damage oriented item set in this pushing setup instead of the own bonus gold setup. So there's a crit and fire damage in here. So this is like a really solid, almost perfect item for Goblin. And then we have this beast of an accessory with item quality line, crit chance, crit damage, and fire damage with some attack speed runes, which is, well, attack speed rune is what you want to have for Goblin, and for Windy you want to have preferably fire damage if you don't run own bonus gold. Fire damage does work for Goblin as well, but attack speed is just slightly better in that case. So those are the differences with the push build versus the gold build. So slight differences, but usually this is used unless there's like a major push season. For example, for the personal top 1 trophy going on. Oh wow, feels I've been yapping for ages. Let's go through the skill tree. If you have any questions about the skill tree, feel free to drop a comment down below. I can answer to you, or we can ask Dizzy if we can't find an answer. So it's starting from the fire path to boost Windy and Goblin, because they are doing a lot of damage throughout the wave through the normal monsters, both flying and ground monsters as well, because Windy can hit the flying monsters. So the full fire tree that boosts both of them, the Goblin nodes, the Windy nodes, and the fire damage nodes in here. Then in the lightning section, we have, well, more damage to stun monsters, the Zeus nodes, because Zeus is in the build, more damage to flying monsters, and the sword node, which is just universal boost to all of your damage dealers as well. Summon tree is just for the Stingers piercing node and the more monsters node, which you need for the gold build. Poison tree, let's see, we have the Succubus nodes, and then we have the rest nodes for boosting, well, Worm's MP recovery and Succubus damage. So that's what this poison tree branch in here is for. And finally, we have the down outer section, obviously, but the ice tree. And in the ice tree, the important things in here are the Windy nodes. Even though they are in the ice tree, these boost Windy, so you will want to have this section if you run Fire Windy for damage in your build. And also these two nodes in here, they give you more damage for your Goblin, because they will boost you powder damage, and Goblin gets boosted by powder damage, so you also want to have these ones as well. He has 169 skill points, nice. So not that much, so there's still a lot of things that can be taken eventually once he earns more points, so this build will just get stronger and better as time goes by. But that's how the skill tree currently looks like. And now it's almost time to reset the town archers. Oh, I love this part. But let's just quickly take a look at the colony build setup as well. So the colony build looks like this with town cannons, which is what you want to run in town archer setup. We have double fire damage, crit damage in here. And we have double fire damage, crit damage in here as well. So these are separate items for the town cannons, and I'm not going to be doing a test run with this build, but this is how the Infinite Colony build looks like, and these are the treasures for this setup. And let's take a look at the dragon build as well. It looks like this, so let's see if we can do a bone dragon battle. So let's see how this goes. It goes like this, really fast, really nice, and we got a crappy drop. What a surprise. But the analysis looks like this. So Town Archers doing a lot of damage, Succubus doing a lot of damage as well, and there's also actually Sarah in here as well, who is level 100,000, so this is one of the perks that you can do when you are running Time Autobattle. You have a lot of gold. Otherwise, I would not recommend leveling another leader just for dragon farming, but in this case, it works because there's an extra gold to be used. And let's see, Sarah items, poison damage, crit damage, cooldown line, boss damage runes, and double crit chance in here with some poison damage stack. Really solid Sarah items for this purpose. Are the Town Archers using the same items? Yes, they are using the same items. So in here, for example, the boss damage comes in handy when farming the Bone Dragon. But those are the Infinite Colony build and the Dragon build really fast gone through. So let's get to the interesting part. So here we are back to the gold build, and the Town Archers are currently level 600,000. They were around 0.2 ratio currently for this account. So let's reset them and let's make them half of that, so 0.1 ratio. So that would be level 300,000 for the Town Archers, and let's see if the build runs at that point. So we'll go in here, we'll go and waste a Town Archer reset ticket for this purpose. Haha, not my loss. So in here we can see that when we use the ticket, Town Archers will be reset to level 10,000. And gold will be refunded that was previously used over that level 10,000 to get them to level 600,000. So this is the amount of gold that you need to get them from level 10,000 to level 600,000. So we'll go with this and ka-ching, ka-ching. And now we have a lot of gold. Our Town Archers is level 10,000. Well, his Town Archers are level 10,000. So right now this build wouldn't run for sure. So let's make these Town Archers level 300,000. I'm really great at leveling things to a specific even level, so this should be an easy thing for me to do. So we'll go for 300,000 again. Laku, concentrate, 300,000, 70, 80, 90, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woohoo! I made it for once. Leveled them to the exact the level that I was supposed to. Yeah, that's a personal win. So level 300,000. We are still using the full gold treasures in here. Let's see if this runs, or do we need Power Claw in here, which you most likely usually would be running. With this, the ratios are a bit closer to normal player ratio, what you could maybe possibly achieve without being a fully pay to win player. The extra gold in here is mainly quite heavily in casual level and in warm level, so if those were reset as well to lower ratios, then it would be really close to what I'm personally running as well. Maybe slightly more than that. Could you run double brocking Windy with those ratios is another question, but at least we won the first wave with just 0.1 Town Archers in here, so that's a great start. It's looking nice. A little bit of lag in here, which is probably due to my recording, but let's see if we can successfully clear another wave and maybe third wave as well and see how that goes. That was a little bit close one, but let's see a third one. This is a +7 skip, so let's see how this looks like. I'm really, again, I like seeing the 4 tornadoes on the field. It looks nice because Windy doesn't really see much of a use usually in waving especially. So in the fire build it's nice to see Windy. That was a beautiful wave. Let's do one more. It's nice to see Windy being run in a build, so that's why I like the fire build. I do like Windy. She's a hot redhead, who doesn't like Windy? But yeah, that's not the only reason, because it's just nice to see a different damage dealer being run. So let's see, this seems to be running just fine. Let's cancel this one and let's take a look at the results. Wow, look at that, 100% Succubus, OP confirmed. So this is how it looks currently. Now we can see Town Archers have dropped in terms of their overall damage distribution, because of course their ratio is now half of what they were before. So obviously they should be doing less damage than what they were. They're still doing a lot, but they are doing a lot less than what they were doing before. So Okay, that's unsurprising. I was gonna say I'm suspecting that Succubus will be the #1 in all of these, but in there actually Town Houses are doing quite a lot of damage. This is probably also because of the boss damage line on Town Houses, but the items are really solid on Town Houses. So even with 0.1 ratio, they are doing a tremendous amount of damage in here, surpassing Succubus even in some of these waves. But yeah, that looks really, really nice. So now we have confirmed he can run the build with lower Town House ratio as well, and we have successfully freed up a lot of gold for him. Let's see, he probably will level up Town Houses, because I want to say, if you have extra gold and you're using Town Houses in your build, using that extra gold, if everyone else's ratio is in check, using that extra gold in Town Houses is usually, right now in the current state of the game, a good deal, because their damage is really nice, especially the higher level you go, the more towards end game you go. So leveling Town Houses more than what is recommended is not a bad deal at any stage. But let's go take a look at, I think we can go through, well, his runes, because I've seen a couple of box opening videos, so there's a, whoa, okay. You're seeing this? I'm blocking some of them, but there's how many CDE runes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. Holy crap. 14, 15, 16 cooldown skill level runes. So he is set for life. The man is set for life with those. No need to ever hunt for more of those. And there's the only thing I dislike is seeing a mimic chance in here. Oh, damn it. I want to sell it, but I am not gonna be touching this. Let's see what we have in here. Some fire damage, some cold damage, poison damage, so elemental runes. Really nice attack speed runes being left in here for future use. 9%, 8%, those are nice. I would need some. I would love to get some. And let's see what else we have here. Max skill duration rune. That is a pain in the ass to farm, so it's a nice thing to have something like that. Gold per hit. Doesn't really have any uses, but it's there. And let's see, we have some boss damage in here. Then we have, alrighty, yeah, that's just a flex. But how many Town House runes? You can't even see it all because I'm again blocking some of the view. But there's like 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Town House runes. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Yeah, I'm out. Okay, I'm not out. Holy crap. Yeah, man is set for life. He doesn't need to start touch expert dungeon ever. And okay, yeah, these tower runes, man, what the heck. It's almost the same amount. This is the same amount, it's even more. I can't even count. My math is failing me right now. There's so many tower runes as well in here. Yeah, he doesn't need to farm the expert dungeon ever at this point, so that's a nice thing. And then we have, ooh, can you see this one? 10% chance to summon Kraken. That is a max one. This is also a really difficult one to get a max roll on, so holy moly, that is a beautiful one. Nice runes, nice items, nice account. What do you think was the funniest, best, or most interesting part of this account review? I'm probably gonna have nightmares about this inventory because holy crap, I'm jealous. Am I green? Do I look green? Because I am jealous. I'm jealous about those runes for sure. Personally, I loved it. I loved going through this account. I love seeing the barbecue build. What do you think? Leave me your comments down below. And again, his YouTube account is also linked in the description, so make sure to check Dizzy out as well once you are done watching this one. I thank you very much for watching this one, and I thank Dizzy very much for allowing us to go through this account and see this item. It's always a pleasure to do these kind of review videos. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.